The year 2026 is shaping up to be a turning point, one of those years historians, economists, and ordinary families alike will look back on and say, that's when the rules of retirement changed. For millions of retirees, workers nearing retirement age, and families who rely on the stability of monthly support, the quiet but profound changes now being written into Canada's social security system could redefine what it means to live with dignity after a lifetime of work. Tonight, we take you inside the story of 6 major changes, 6 adjustments that some call long overdue, others warn are too costly, and nearly everyone agrees will touch the daily lives of seniors in ways they cannot ignore. For decades, Canada's retirement system has been built on 3 pillars: the Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, and the Guaranteed Income Supplement. Together, they have provided a safety net, though not always a comfortable one. Seniors have long warned that rising grocery prices, climbing rent, and ever-increasing medical costs have far outpaced the slow crawl of benefit increases. A carton of milk that cost $2 in the early 2000s now sells for nearly $6. The average senior, living on just over $1,300 a month in combined benefits, has watched that money shrink in value year after year. It was this reality, the pressure felt in kitchen tables across the country, that pushed Ottawa into action. And now, after months of debate in Parliament, long committee hearings, and tense negotiations between provinces and the federal government, a sweeping set of reforms is set to take effect beginning January 2026. The first major change, the largest cost of living adjustment in decades. Benefits tied to inflation will now be recalculated quarterly rather than once a year. What does this mean in real terms? If grocery prices spike by 5% in the spring, retirees will see that reflected in their July payments instead of waiting until the following January. Advocates hail this as common sense, noting that inflation is not a once-a-year event but a daily battle. Critics argue it could strain federal budgets, warning that the adjustment could add billions to annual costs. But for seniors like 74-year-old Margaret in Winnipeg, who admits she sometimes cuts her medication in half to stretch a prescription, this shift could mean survival. The second change strikes at one of the most persistent complaints from seniors, the clawback threshold. Currently, higher-income seniors see their old age security benefits reduced once they cross a certain income line. In 2026, that threshold is being raised by nearly $10,000. On paper, that may sound like a gift to wealthier retirees, but in practice, it means that thousands of middle-class seniors, those who worked modest jobs, saved responsibly, but are by no means wealthy, will no longer be punished for having a small pension or RRSP. For couples on fixed incomes, this could translate into several hundred extra dollars each month. The third change is one that has sparked fierce debate in Parliament: automatic enrollment. Too many Canadians, officials admit, are missing out on benefits simply because they never applied or never knew they qualified. In 2026, Canadians turning 65 will be automatically enrolled in OAS and CPP if they meet the criteria, no application required. Critics worry this opens the door to bureaucratic errors or overpayments, but supporters insist it is long overdue. No one should have to beg for the retirement support they earned, one senior advocacy group declared. The fourth change involves an increase to the Guaranteed Income Supplement. For the lowest income seniors, Ottawa has pledged an additional $200 per month, phased in starting mid-2026. On the surface, it may not sound like much. But when rent consumes half a pension check, when groceries and utilities leave barely a margin, an extra $200 can mean not having to choose between heating and eating. Economists say it will lift tens of thousands of seniors above the poverty line. Yet, fiscal hawks warn that it sets a dangerous precedent, calling it unsustainable generosity. The fifth change addresses something retirees have long called unfair: work incentives. In the past, seniors who wanted to continue working part-time often saw their benefits reduced dollar for dollar. The new rules will allow seniors to earn up to $6,000 annually without any clawback on their benefits. Supporters call it a lifeline for seniors who want to remain active and supplement their income. Detractors question whether this is a subtle admission that benefits alone are insufficient. And finally, the sixth change, perhaps the most controversial of them all. The eligibility age for future retirees. While those already receiving benefits will not be affected, Ottawa has quietly signaled that for Canadians born after 1970, the eligibility age for OAS may rise from 65 to 66 by the year 2029. Officials argue this reflects longer life expectancy and the need to preserve the system's long-term sustainability. Critics, however, see it as moving the goalposts for younger workers who already feel squeezed by housing costs, stagnant wages, and rising taxes. These 6 changes, announced with little fanfare but carrying enormous consequences, reveal the tension at the heart of Canada's retirement debate: how to honor those who built the country while balancing the books for generations to come. Supporters of the reforms point to seniors who have spent a lifetime working in factories, farms, and hospitals, only to face financial stress in old age. They argue these adjustments bring long overdue relief and restore dignity. Critics warn that the price tag will be staggering, tens of billions added to federal obligations over the next decade. And somewhere between these two sides are the ordinary Canadians, hoping the system will be there when they need it. For retirees, the changes coming in 2026 are not abstract policy, they are decisions that shape daily life. Will they have enough to pay the rising rent in Vancouver? Can they cover a heating bill in Saskatchewan's winter? Will they finally afford the fresh fruit and vegetables doctors urge them to eat? These are not numbers in a spreadsheet, they are choices faced in grocery aisles and pharmacies every day. For all the technical details, the numbers, the policy debates, the question remains: what does it actually look like for real people, in real towns, when the checks arrive, or don't? Take the story of Harold, a retired miner from northern Alberta. He's 72 now, his back bent from decades underground, his pension modest at best. Every winter, the cost of heating his small home spikes, and every spring, he braces for yet another notice of rising property taxes. Under the new quarterly cost of living adjustment, Harold could see his benefits rise almost immediately when energy prices climb again. For him, it's not just about more money, it's about sleeping at night without the constant worry that a sudden price jump will break him. It gives me a fighting chance, he says, though quietly he wonders if Ottawa will really follow through. In Nova Scotia, we meet Elaine, a widow who never worked outside the home. For years, she relied on the guaranteed income supplement to survive on a razor-thin budget. When her rent went up by $90 last year, she began skipping Sunday dinners with her church group just to keep food on the table. With the GIS boost of $200, she believed she could return to the life she once had, simple, but not deprived. It doesn't sound like much, she admits, but to me, it's freedom. Maybe I won't feel ashamed at the grocery store anymore, putting back the apples because I can't afford them. In Ontario, Robert, a retired teacher, has mixed feelings. His income from a small pension and investments puts him just above the clawback threshold. For years, he's watched his old age security shrink because of a rule he considered deeply unfair. Now, with the threshold raised by nearly $10,000, he will keep more of what he earned. But he's also uneasy. I'm grateful, of course. But where is that money coming from? My grandchildren already have a mountain of debt waiting for them. His voice reflects the tension many Canadians feel: relief for today, unease for tomorrow. Then there is Angela in British Columbia, who still works part-time at a local library despite being 68. She says she loves the work, but also needs the extra income for rising rent in her city. In the past, every dollar she earned meant a clawback on her benefits. Starting in 2026, she'll be able to earn up to $6,000 without penalty. To her, this isn't just financial, it's about dignity. I don't want to feel punished for contributing, for staying active. I want to know I'm not being squeezed for trying to do the right thing. As the calendar turns to 2026, seniors will be watching closely, waiting to see if the promises hold and if their dignity is finally being recognized not as a political slogan, but as a lived reality. And perhaps that is the true test of any retirement system, not whether it balances perfectly on paper, but whether it gives those who carried this nation through decades of work the peace of mind they deserve in their final chapters. The 6 changes are coming. How they will reshape the future, for better or worse, remains a story still unfolding.